Liverpool-West Ham United starting 11's. Jürgen Klopp will have to change things up when West Ham United visit Anfield tonight. Liverpool have yet another injury to worry about. Diogo Jota is probably missing in the next few months. It was thought that Diogo Jota would start on the left of 4-4-2 if he wasn't injured, but that plan has now definitively gone out the window. Klopp and the coaching staff had to try something different, and that could reveal a new left-wing candidate. Because Luis Diaz was injured in the Arsenal match and will not be in the squad tonight. Here is Liverpool's starting 11 according to the latest information. Alisson Becker's place in the castle is still guaranteed. Right back Joe Gomez had a good performance. Klopp used him well in this role, but will be used as a centre-back in the absence of Joel Matip and Ibrahima Konate. Trent Alexander-Arnold at right back is back and will get his jersey back tonight. Virgil van Dijk will partner with Joe Gomez. Robertson, who recovered from the injury and returned to the team with the Manchester City match, will be in the starting squad again. Moving on to the midfield, Fabinho is not expected to take charge. Klopp rested Henderson over the weekend and is expected to start in the starting lineup for this game. Thiago will take charge alongside Henderson. Klopp has to make forced changes on the offensive line. It's not good for both Jota and Luis Diaz to be left out, but different options will be considered. Uruguayan Nunez, who started to show himself with his effective appearance in the last matches, is expected to take charge on the left tonight. He was very effective, especially after entering the game in the Manchester City match, and he deserved this jersey. In the forward duo, Roberto Firmino, who is the most informed name of this season, and Mohamed Salah, who has been in form recently despite a bad start to the season, are expected to take charge. On the right wing, surprisingly, new transfer Fabio Carvalho is expected to play. Klopp has tried him against City in this region, and now he wants to give that mission fully. Klopp doesn't want to relocate Salah, but Nunez moving forward, Carvalho moving to the left and Salah moving to the right would be another option. Liverpool are after the successor of Brazilian Ronaldo. The Reds have invested heavily in strengthening their offense in recent seasons. After paying £40 million for Diogo Jota in a deal described as stunning gold in the summer of 2020, £54 million was paid for Luis Diaz and £85 million for Darwin Nunez. Moreover, star man Mohamed Salah also signed a new deal in the summer, committing him to the Reds for 3 more years. However, the Egyptian king reportedly earned £350,000 a week at Anfield. So it's no surprise to see the Reds linked to another big-name attacker like Leo. According to Italian sources, it is reported that Liverpool is closely following the situation regarding Milan's star Rafael Leo. They claim that the Reds are big fans of the player and are closely monitoring his situation at San Siro. However, Liverpool is not alone in this transfer race. Among the suitors of the Portuguese player are clubs such as Chelsea, Manchester City, and PSG. A recent report also claimed that Manchester United are planning a big approach for the Portuguese star. Leo has managed to prove himself as one of the leading players of Serie A in recent seasons. He continues to maintain his excellent form this season. Leo is at the top of his performance with 4 goals and 8 assists in 13 games so far this season. Milan want to keep Rafael Leo and put a bigger exit clause in the contract. So it's not surprising to see Milan doing everything they can to persuade Leo to stay. They are currently negotiating a new deal with their manager, Jorge Mendes, in San Siro. The topic of discussion around the renewal talks will also include the release of the player. This price is currently reported to be just over £130 million. However, Milano wants to push this price even higher, fearing that it may be poaching. But Mendes is reportedly eager to ensure his exit item doesn't escalate any further. While the player is happy with Rossoneri and is willing to reach a new deal, raising the exit clause could put the deal intact. The trouble that Milan had with players like Gianluigi Donnarumma and Frank Kessie can be experienced with Leo. Because other suitors can persuade a new deal with more fees. For this reason, it is reported that Liverpool is closely following the talks for a possible move in the future. His current deal will expire in the summer of 2024. And not extending the deal now could leave them vulnerable to a possible approach from a leading suitor. However, Milan is likely to refer to a £130 million exit clause from a club that has an interest in the player until his contract expires. Although Liverpool lost Jota to a calf problem over the next 2 months, January's transfer focus is likely to be elsewhere. In other words, there is no agreement with Leo in January. However, it is expected that the Reds will be one of the clubs that will make the first move should problems arise between Milan and the player. Do you think Rafael Leo can succeed at Liverpool? The Liverpool star says the Reds can now chase the Premier League title. Mohamed Salah has given a clear response to thoughts on whether Liverpool can still win the Premier League title. The Reds started the league again after beating Manchester City. Few expected Liverpool to beat Manchester City. After all, with the Reds in very inconsistent form this season, City were undefeated. Still, Mohamed Salah found a way. In the magic moment of the 76th minute, he took the lead over Liverpool with a spectacular goal, enough to give Pep Guardiola's side their first defeat of the campaign. But for Liverpool, it was a game of self-confidence. But we cannot ignore that Liverpool is still far from the top. But is it too late to fight for a title? Liverpool are 14 points behind top-ranked Arsenal. There's plenty of time to make up for. However, the situation of the competitors is even more prominent. Salah talked about his thoughts on the title fight after the match. We're still a long way from that, we just need to focus on every game and take one game at a time. Right now we don't have to think about the championship. Personally, I always like to play for the championship, I have to fight for it. But we just need to focus more and have a look ahead, said the Egyptian player. We need to win the game. We don't need to feel any more pressure as there is still a gap between first and second. Of course, we will try to play for the championship, he said. But can Liverpool still win the championship? It takes incredible form for Liverpool to win the title. Almost every remaining match needs to be won. Still, this is something they've done before. That's practically what they did last season, overcoming a 10-point lead with City to push the race into the final 15 minutes of the campaign. So it's not impossible. Do you think Liverpool can join the title race? Liverpool midfielder doing special training exercises. Liverpool's young midfielder, Harvey Elliott, is training with assistant manager Papine Gindas to improve his defense. Elliott delivered arguably his most successful performance on the right side for Liverpool on Sunday. The 19-year-old has worked hard to help James Milner deal with the threat from Manchester City duo Phil Foden and Bernardo Silva. This season has been a real breakthrough for Liverpool's young player. Jürgen Klopp has been impressed with his appearance thus far. But he seems to be working extremely hard on the defensive side of his game. Klopp's assistant also appears to have done his part behind the scenes. The Dutch assistant works hard behind the scenes to assist the young Liverpool player in defense. Elliott watches video analysis with Klopp's right-hand man in Kirkby. It is also stated that Elliott's father gave him feedback on his defense. Elliott has certainly been impressed with his good relations with the ball this season, but there have been times when his defensive skills have been questioned. But it's clear that Gindas and Elliott's work behind the scenes has paid off. The young player gave a disciplined performance on the right with Milner on Sunday. Klopp has shown a lot of faith in the former Fulham youth who has played in some of Liverpool's biggest games this season. The German boss will be hoping that Gindas' work will continue to pay dividends after a much improved defensive display over the weekend.